The phrase, the soft bigotry of low expectations that's often placed on the left, do you think that that's almost passe? That's almost to 2018, 2019, and now they're just moved on into the hard bigotry of just being fucking racist. Like it's you used to be able to say like a white progressive and awful, like we were talking about last week, right? Affluent white female liberals. They just didn't, they were like, oh, black people, you're always going to be the victim. You just can't get ahead, blah, blah, blah. And there's that kind of soft racism there. But it seems like in the last few years, they've just graduated, at least on the far left, into
In the
just
last few
straight
years, it's
racism.
blown up, and I'll tell you guys a story I don't think I've ever told you. I was at a very posh Georgetown cocktail party in the early 1980s, and this was back in the day when cocktail parties in Washington were a lot of them were not just conservatives getting together, or Republicans getting together, or just Democrats and liberal Democrats getting together. You could go to all kinds of bars and restaurants where you had you had Democratic staffers, Republican staffers. People had a good time. I was at this party, and it was a bipartisan party, and it was a really upscale party. And Senator Kennedy was there. Senator Ted Kennedy was there, and this was in a person's home, and it was one of those beautiful row houses in Georgetown. And I forget who the host was. I think it was somebody at the Washington Post. I was paying attention to Senator Kennedy's staffers who just had gone up and whispered something to him, and I could tell that they were going to, and he motioned them to come into the kitchen because he wanted to talk to them about what they just told him. And I don't know what the piece of legislation was. It's been so many years I can't remember, but there was a piece of legislation or some initiative that he was working on, and staffers were telling him, we need to do this, we need to do that with this initiative. And he literally said, um, something to the effect of, I wish I could remember his exact words, but it was, um, well, if we don't give these people stuff, we're not going to get their votes. So I really don't care what it is they're asking for, just do it.
Wow. Wow. Case in point.
It was so cynical and political and gross. It was just, and I thought to myself, you motherfucker. Yeah, because the champion, the lion of the Senate, the champion of the downtrodden from Boston, and of course he was uh, pandering to and handing out stuff to people to keep them happy. And one of the staffers was like, and again, I wish I could remember like who the staffer was. It was it was somebody like Chris Matthews at the time, a really prominent Senate staffer. They said, but Senator, we're getting pushback from the Reagan people or whatever it was, and Kennedy. He goes, these people don't know. He was talking about minorities now. Because these people don't know any better. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna play it like we're helping them. We're the champion. We're their champions, and that's what we're gonna do. And it was
It's fucking gross. It's
it,
fucking
it,
gross.
it truly was. And most recently, we have your governor, Gavin Newsom, who told an interviewer day before yesterday that he didn't know where his birth certificate was and he wouldn't know how to lay his hands on it. Jim Crow 2.0, that the SAVE Act requires that you prove you're an American citizen to register to vote. Bernie Sanders did it yesterday. He goes, I have no idea where my birth certificate is. I don't know if I can find it. I have no idea where it is. And he used that as a means by which to explain that it's racist to have documentation proving you're an American citizen to register to vote, which, by the way, there's no such thing as a governor or a United States senator who doesn't have about 10 staffers that can go get his birth certificate for him at the snap of a finger. I can assure you that there's at least 10 people in Bernie Sanders' office that if you said, I need a copy of my birth certificate, could go get it, right? Because they got a copy of it.
Is this not just proof that Bernie Sanders and Gavin Newsom are racist if their minds at all go to black people can't find their birth certificates in a greater number than white or Asian or Hispanic people can't find their birth certificates? just even your head going there at all proves you're racist. Am I wrong?
Sanders and Newsom and the entirety of the Democratic Party, every elected Democrat in the country, will tell you that illegal aliens can't vote. Well, if they can't vote, then certainly you won't have a problem with a requirement that you're an American citizen to vote. Like, what could possibly be your objection? If illegal aliens can't vote, then why are you opposed to legislation that says you have to prove that you're an American citizen to vote?
I think I was talking about you said Jim Crow 2.0, which I think Joe Biden calling it Jim Eagle
I
was
mean,
the best way to phrase it.
why don't you just take a
Jim Eagle.
gigantic steaming shit on the memory of millions of people who suffered under Jim Crow laws? Why don't you just go take a gigantic steaming shit on the memory of people that got beaten by racists, by Klan members and Southern police departments when they were fighting for civil rights and fighting against Jim Crow laws by comparing an ID to vote with Jim Crow laws. Go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of here, man. It blows my fucking mind. I'm going to have an aneurysm the next time I hear Jim Crow 2.0 about having an ID to vote.
I'm just going to, again, you need to stop holding back, because this is about, we started this in a huge part for you to really get your views out there, and you keep pussyfooting around it.
I'm very relaxed. I got my computer. I got my Irish whiskey. I got my nicotine. I got my friends.